Welcome, guys. How are you guys doing today? Y'all, I apologize for the delay. For those who don't know, it's my daughter's birthday today, and so I have been running rampant to get back to you guys so that we can do this live tonight. So, welcome you guys to the show. If you guys don't know me already, my name is Samantha Lee. And I have the privilege to be here. Y'all, I didn't have the chance to get the right everything going. I'm like, let me make sure I covered everything up. I don't want to wear anything that's too much for the people. I know how y'all can, people can get, but it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. But welcome tonight. You guys, again, if you guys don't know who I am, see I got a balloon. It's my baby's birthday. Woohoo. So you'll see balloons. So again, I am tired. I am not going to lie. I did not prepare as much for this live as I would have wanted to. And it was one of those nights where I'm like, you know what? Forget it. But I said to myself, no, there's obviously an assignment here and I'm not going to run away from the assignment. I don't care how I feel. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show out. I'm going to move on with my life. So let me make sure that I want to thank everybody that's even given today in the name of Soraya. Like, y'all are so kind to like even think to like send cash apps to be like, hey, for the baby. It's so dope, man. Like, y'all, there's no one like the community that I have here on YouTube. And I'm really, really glad that we have this time to get together. Let me also get my TikTok family in here because I have to. I don't even know, y'all. I got the new iPhone and I can't even. I don't even know how to work this thing the way I need. Like you be like, I done got this phone. I feel like an old person. Ooh, look, I don't have no control. Okay, here we go. All right, I gotta go live. All right, here we go. On my new iPhone. Okay, so I don't even really like this filter, but hey, and I gotta wash my hair. It is what it is. At this point, y'all, it is what it is. We gonna do what it do. My husband may be on here. At least he can see me in my natural habitat. He can see me in my natural habitat. Tonight's show's gonna be good, y'all, because I got passion. I got a lot of passion tonight. I'm gonna actually pray, and I'm gonna get into it that way. I know that y'all are not like may not be used to me praying before a live, but I am going to do it tonight because I need to be passionate. And it's gonna be passionate. I got a lot to say. 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 So let's get into it. And here's the thing, family. The beautiful thing about where I'm at in my life, and let me see. I'm just going. Okay. The beautiful thing about where I'm at in my life, if I'm being very honest with you, is that you don't have to like me. You really don't have to like me at all. My God likes me. My man in the future gonna like me. He gonna love me. I be cracking myself up when I do that stuff. But I'm just at a place where I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. Like if you don't, that's just what it is. The world loves you. Saying no, the world don't love me now. That's not true. The world don't love me. They I don't know. But anyway, guys, so we are going to have a good show tonight. I am definitely going to give you guys. It's really. I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, I'm gonna step on some toes. Because I've been seeing some stuff, y'all, and I have to. I'm at the edge of my seat. For those who are just joining me on my TikTok, tonight I'm talking about why cultures. I'm gonna do a catty corner sit so you guys both can see me well. Why culture's version of masculinity is not masculinity at all. It's not masculine at all. What makes a godly man irresistible to women? I'm actually excited about this, you guys. And I'm really going to I'm just gonna say everything that I feel like saying. So this is gonna be one of them lives where you're gonna, you might be like, oh, Sam. Yeah, no, I'm here for all of it. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm like tired. It's whatever. Like, I'm here. Like, let's go. Like, I'm about it. Like, what's up? Oh, thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you so much for giving. Tommy started off the giving. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for the giving already. But yeah. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Samantha Lee. I have a channel. Been blessed. I have a channel on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I've affectionately called the U of Tube. And I am a therapist by trade, but I found my way into content creation. And so here I am creating content. I put out content almost daily, pretty much daily on both of the channels that I have. I have two channels on YouTube. I have the Love Samantha Lee channel. I also have the More Than Just Pretty channel. I have TikTok. I have Facebook. I have Instagram. And I put out content very frequently on all those platforms. And I have a full-time job and I'm somebody's mama. So I do a lot. I am scaling back a little bit with certain things and really trying to focus a lot of my energy here on these platforms in the coming time. So, just pray for me. Just pray for me. Y'all got to give it up for Pam. Pam, thank you, ma'am. My ride or die. She has rode with me on this journey. She's believed in me when no one did. God has used her in mighty ways in my journey. And I'm very grateful for Pam. Why am I so emotional? God, Lee, what's going on with me? I'm very grateful for people who have had my back, and even when no one had my back, when no one saw. And people on a really big level, a lot of people haven't they have not seen the best, but I still feel like God has just brought me a mighty way. And I want to thank everybody that's rode with me on this journey. So, Pam, thank you. We got to thank Pam for that. I believe we got to clap it up for people that have always had your back and have shown up for you when no one else was showing up for you. And I was there for you when people weren't believing in what you were saying or who you were or anything like that. And she has seen the value in what I do and what I bring to the internet space. And I just want to, I want to thank everybody that does that, everybody that's shown up, because it's not just Pam. There's people like Travel. There's people like Trav. There's people like Truth. There's people like Reds Inc. There's people that have shown up for me since day one. And I want you guys to know that these tears are not just about Pam, although Pam has been with me in the trenches, like building this thing up. But actually, it's actually a funny story because it was a situation where I had to figure things out, and Pam was like, I really want to help you. She felt led by God to help me during that period of time. And it was at a time where like I was struggling to trust people because I had gone through something where somebody was helping me and it just a lot. Nonetheless, it's a story for another day. Thank you to everybody that has supported me thus far. And if you guys, again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Samantha Lee. If you guys are on TikTok, I'm currently also on YouTube. I'm looking at both of the screens at the same time. And so that is who I am. This is what I do. And I come on here weekly and I go off on something, whether it's something that I read in a comment, whether it's something that I see on the news, whether it's just something I feel like God has prompted me to talk about. And I usually follow my unctions, my holy agitations, and I let God lead me. And it's been going very well so far with that. I will say that if you guys don't know, I have a YouTube. It's a More Than Just Pretty podcast, my other YouTube, and I will be documenting my journey. I'll be documenting my journey as I travel west. Your girl, East Coast Atlanta shot it is now. I am making a move, my daughter and I. So be praying for us. We are packing it up, and we are exploring a new world that God will show us. And so we're not far from there. bought a home today. Good for you, Mark. Look, he bought a home today. And he said, thank you for your message. So we are just praying for us. I'll be documenting my journey. You will be seeing me in this environment for a little bit, but then you will be then seeing me in a new environment. And that'll be for a period of time, and we will see where God leads me from there. So, buckle your seatbelts, Buttercup. We're gonna be taking a ride. God is already showing me it's gonna be a ride. God is about to take me to some places that I've never been and I've never seen, but I'm ready, and I'm trusting him completely. So that is that. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Tommy, for sewing into me tonight. So we're gonna get straight into it. Tonight's content is why culture's version of masculinity is not masculine at all. What makes a godly man irresistible to women. So I wanted to kind of come up with a couple of things that I thought, were really what I had seen. And I'm not going to name names, because here's the thing, family. Here's the thing. Can I be honest with you? I think that we've made a version of masculinity that is absolutely unattractive. It's not attractive. The things that I'm seeing that men are portraying, and they think it makes them look good to other men. If that's the goal, to look good to other men, then you guys are winning. But if your goal is to attract women, you're losing. And so I really want to start off with number one, okay? Because I'm not. Let me take the things off, because let me get my hair together. My hair looking all right. Okay, got a little oily because my trainer be working me out too hard. We about to get into it. Let me make sure I got a style that if I act up, it at least can stay. Okay, we ready to go? Yes, we are. Okay. Number one that I feel like is what we say is masculinity, but is not masculinity at all. I don't understand why it seems to be very attractive in our today's society to brag about how little you do for your loved ones. And I'm talking about the person you say you lay down with. I have no idea why we think that that's an attractive quality. What about not caring for people that you are actively sleeping with and having children with? What about that makes you feel like a big bad wolf? Like, what about that is like, let me brag and talk about how, like, I'm in control of whatever. And so, yeah, I'm not a provider. I'm a conditional provider. What about that is godly? And what about that has anything to do with what men came on this? I don't understand why we find so much pride in not showing up for our loved ones and not showing up for people that we're laying down with every night. I don't understand what is such an attractive thing. What do you think is attractive about saying, yeah, I'm successful, but I'm not a provider? Then what's the point? I'm sorry. I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship. I'm waiting on God's best for me. But as I make money and I'm able to do things for my child, there is something about being able to provide for my child and provide for my loved ones, even if they're not my kids, people that are connected to me, blessing people that are close to me. This is not even people that I'm sleeping with. These are people that they show up for me. They do things. They go out of their way for me. Being able to give to them and to show up for them, it does something for me. Anybody that knows me is I'm a generous person. I'm generous. It just is what it is. I am. But this whole like, oh, yeah, I do barely nothing for the people that I'm close to. That's greed. That's pride, and that's ego. There's nothing about that has anything to do with God. That's everything to do with culture. That has nothing to do with God. That is not a godly man. That is not who. Thank God don't do us the way we do other people. You weren't blessed with those things just to be a blessing to yourself. You were given blessings to be a blessing. I truly believe that. And I'm not saying you out here just giving money to every woman you decide to meet. No, I'm saying this. If you are in a situation with somebody and you are like, first of all, let's start here. If you're in a situation, I think men should be sexually disciplined. I don't think you should be out here sleeping around with women you have absolutely no future with. I think men should be more mindful about who they lay down with. That's what I truly think. I think a lot of men are laying down with spirits and principalities they have no idea, and they sit out here and they're wondering why there's things that are happening to them in their life, why things are falling through, while it seemed like it was going up and now it's going down. It's because of the fact that you have decided to open yourself up to a spirit and a principality that is going to wreak ruin in your life. And you well, that's what I'm supposed to do because I just have a lot of money, so I just need to be sleeping with everybody. No, that's stupid. Just because as a woman, I may have access to men and I can say, you know what, let me sleep with a different man every single night just because I can. Let me just open my legs to everybody that I might as well got the access. You would be looking at me like, what's up with you? But yeah, when you have options, you feel like it makes you more what? To be sitting here sleeping with something that's half decent, somebody you won't even want to talk to tomorrow. That's discipline. That's legacy building. That's generational curse breaking. Absolutely not. You should be more chaste than women because you have more to protect. Men want to say that they're scared of divorce and that's why they don't want to get married. Well, then you should also be thinking about who has access to your body and who's able to have your children. We should be just as conscious of that. Oh, I don't want to marry her, but I want to have like multiple kids and I'm going to end up giving her money anyway. What? And that's masculinity? When is masculinity shied away from commitment and covenant? When is masculinity shied away from responsibility? It's like nowadays men are so afraid of commitment and responsibility that they're like, oh, responsibility. Whoa, hold on. Don't want to do that. I don't want to be responsible. No. Take away the responsibility. I don't want it. How is that masculine? Running away from responsibility because you're scared? That's masculine? That's masculinity. No, you know what masculinity is? Masculinity is taking dominion. Masculinity is taking responsibility for what is yours. Masculinity is being able to say no to your body. When your body want to do something, like, nah, sit down. Yeah, she look good, but she ain't worth what I got at home. Masculinity is saying, yeah, I'll say I do because I can say no to my flesh. Masculinity is having not only dominion over yourself, but over your household. That's masculinity. Masculinity is taking responsibility for what is yours. Not bragging about not having responsibility for what is yours. Bragging on couches about that's not cute. That's not godly. And then you want women to submit. Like I want to be a woman that submits to my man. I want to be a submissive party. I want to be the person that when we lay down at night, he runs things by me, but ultimately he makes the decisions. That's what I want. I really do. I want a strong man. I want a dominant man that comes in. He don't have to scream he an alpha man from the top of his vocal cords. He just walks in and I just feel his energy. He's just dominant. And here's the thing, family. When I was growing up, the way my dad was a protector and a provider. My dad is still a protector and provider. My mom married my stepdad. My stepdad is a protector and a provider. My brothers are protectors and providers. I only know men that protect and provide. I don't know this generation that brag about not being a protector and not being a provider. In fact, I know in my world, they take pride in taking care of their family. That's the type of men I know. Like even tonight, my daughter was it's her birthday. And so my brother goes and he gets all these things for my daughter, just clothes, shoes, all the things. He don't have to do that. But he takes pride in taking care of his family. He takes pride in taking care of his family. When have we made a lack of discipline, not being a protector and a provider, masculine, walking in fear, not doing the things that God has called you to do, and finding biblical loopholes to justify your sinful lifestyle? I'm sorry. Masculinity is a man that takes accountability for what is his. Octomo, that I know what you're trying to say with that particular comment, but that didn't land the way you wanted that to land, my brother. Just being honest, I won't even read that out loud because that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. I'm not even gonna read that out loud. Just think about what you're saying. That sounds crazy. But I understand you probably meant something else by it, but I'm just saying I'm not gonna read that out loud because that I don't even want to do you like that, my brother. I know you didn't mean it like that. Anyway, all I'm saying is that we've made men that make money but don't want to take care of people. They want to make it for themselves, make it for themselves, make it for themselves, make it for themselves, make it for themselves. They want to just it's all about themselves. They don't want to commit. They don't want to call things what they are. They shy away from anything that's real. They run away from it because they're afraid of it. You know, so how is that masculine? How is moving in fear masculine? How is moving as a walking reaction masculine? Men are to take dominion. God created y'all with the internal fortitude to take what is yours. But we sit here cowering in fear and calling it strength. Say, oh, I don't want responsibility of that. I don't want responsibility of my kids. I don't want I don't want to be responsible for the woman I'm laying up with. I don't want to be responsible for this. I don't want to be responsible. I don't want what if I have to pay for something? What? I'm sorry, family. I'm sorry. The same God that I believe this with all of my being. If I have to, if God forbid I have to leave a situation, go somewhere else, do something, I believe that the same God is going to provide for me. I really believe that. I believe I don't need to stay anywhere broken because I know that God will provide. But when we're dipping and dodging responsibility and we're calling it strength, when we're running around, sleeping around with anything that looks half decent, and we're calling it strength, when we are being run by our flesh, we're watching corn, we're engaging with all these different things. We're investing our soul, our spirit, our focus into things that will ultimately lead to our destruction. I'm sorry, I don't call that strength. I call that weakness. When you can't say no to you, that's not strength. When you can't say no to other options, that's not strength. When you sitting here saying like, oh, I don't like commitment. Whoa, hold on. Whoa. I mean, I do want to enter your body. I do want to enter your being. And I want to get all up in there, but I don't want the responsibility of that. That is not strength. If you don't want the responsibility of a person, of a human being, of somebody's emotions, don't enter. I don't enter into these situations. Why? Because I don't want the responsibility of, I don't want that soul tie. I don't want that connection. Could I be, let's be clear. Could I be out here sleeping around doing whatever? Yes, I could be doing that. I've decided for years at a time not doing that. Do you think that's easy for a woman? No, especially not me. I'm not going to get more into that because I'm not trying to get nobody's mind going. My whole point in saying that is it's not easy to be disciplined. It's not easy to say no to your flesh. It's not easy to do those things. But in today's culture, instead of locking in and accepting the challenge, we find a shortcut. Like we look at the weight loss situation, family. Like, oh, it takes too much work to actually control ourselves. So let's inject ourselves with a foreign substance to help us lose weight, even though we don't technically need it. We're in a society of just being, we try to find the shortcuts to things, and what the cost is a part of our soul. The cost is a part of our health. The cost is a part of our calling, because we're looking for shortcuts. And I'll be honest with you, as men, I'm sorry, as men, like what I'm seeing, like when men are creating a bunch of different homes and they're not taking responsibility of one, and they're trying to justify it with Bible, that's blasphemy. You gotta be careful with that. If you're watching me, you gotta be careful with that. God don't play. If you have seen people that have lost their entire platform, everything they built because of how they presented things, they said they're men of God, but yet they're doing these things behind the scenes. As you can see, God exposes. Be careful with how you represent God. Be careful about that, family. God don't play. God don't play about his likeness. God don't play about his name. Don't come out here saying you a man of God and you misrepresenting what that is. Just because God allowed or tolerated certain behaviors in the Bible, let's not forget when he created Adam and Eve, he didn't create Adam, Eve, and Evisha. He created Adam and Eve. Leave it. He created one for the other. That's what he created. He didn't create Adam, Eve, Amanda, Ashley. No, he created Adam and Eve. And he said, I made this rib. I made this woman from your rib. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. It is not good for man to be alone. So I created this woman, this helpmate. And I will listen. I'm going to do another live and I'm going to get this into this deeper. But women, we have to also accept our role as rib. What do ribs do? Let's talk about that. What do ribs do? Because I think we say we like being called somebody rib, but we don't know what a rib does. God doesn't just put things in the Bible just to put them in the Bible for the body. What do ribs do? Ribs do this. They play crucial roles in the human body, providing protection, support, and facilitating breathing. The rib cage, formed by the ribs, encloses and protects vital organs such as the heart, the lungs, and the liver from external injury, meaning that it says that provides a structure to the chest cavity, maintaining shape and stability. Breathing, the rib cage expands and contracts during breathing, moves upward and downward with inhaling. What does that mean? The women is supposed to be a integral part of this man's body, his ability to function. That's why when men don't have that woman and they out here just running amok, there's an emptiness. Why? Because you were created to have your rib with you. You were created to have somebody that is protecting. You have this protection, this Think about it, guys. Those who are on here, who are married, those who may not, you may not be married, but you're like, you know what, I would like, because I'm sorry. I'm going to go there. Go ahead, Sam. Most men want a wife. They're afraid of it. Most men want a woman they coming home to. I've met a lot of men, and I know how they present themselves. I know how the world sees them, but I've met some men, and every single one of them, I don't care what they say on the internet, want a wife. Every single one of them. It's just hard to find the one that they want. And that's really what the problem is like, and if they do find the one that they want, they're scared of the one that they want, because the one that they want can hurt them, and they don't want to be hurt. But every man that I know, even if he want to be single, talks about his wife. Even when he want to be single. Oh man, she got wife written all over her, bro. That's a wife right there. I'm gonna be how men are for a second. Be like, you know what, bro? Shawty over there. Y'all don't say shorty anymore, but that's okay. We gonna take it back. Shawty over there. Let her be in my city, bro. It's over. Done. I'm locking it down, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm locking her in my castle, and she's gonna stay there forever. Bro, put me in this. Bro, she's not going anywhere. Men will say this. Men will have these moments with their friends where they're like, yeah, no, you know what? Yo, if Amanda come into town, bro, don't even look her way. She's mine. Let Ashley move within 30 miles of me. Let Ashley move. Wiping her tomorrow, bro. No questions asked. And the guy would be like, bro, you gonna delete? You gonna stop talking to what's her name? Bro, I don't even like her. Like, she just don't stop hitting me up, so I just talk to her. But like, if it's Ashley, oh no, bro. Ashley is over. I'm deleting all the women out my phone. Shoot, I might even get a new number. I need a fresh start. I've been look. Somebody sitting over here. He's like, yeah, I'm cutting everybody off. Everybody's out. Ashley coming to town. You talking about Ashley? Oh, I'm cutting everybody off. I know no one. When I see them in the street, shawty, you don't know me. Shawty, you don't know me. We don't know each other. Because when Ashley come into town, let Ashley, you know what? Let Ashley come to town, baby. But again, I'm joking. Y'all know I like to joke. I'm saying all that to say, most men desire companionship. Most men desire that one, that person that they lock in with, that they connect their hearts to, that they can feel safe with, they can feel themselves with, they feel seen with. Every man, I don't care who he is, I don't care how much money he makes, every man desires that companionship. And today, because we're not teaching women to be ribs, we're not talking about the pride in being a man's rib. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see the pride in being a man's rib. I didn't even know what that looked like for real. It wasn't until God literally has taken me through a journey of what it looks like to really support the man he has for me the way he wants me to. The way he wants me to, not the way I want me to. Because a lot of times, even when I've spoken to God about it, it's going to be times where I've got to put Like what I'm doing now, and that's got to go to the back burner. If it's my spouse, is our family, then I got to put that to the side. Like it's like I've got to create the atmosphere for God to use him. Because guys, you have to understand, you don't understand. This is something that I feel like God has really put on my spirit a lot. You don't know how much God desires men to stand up in these times. You don't know. And when we have these confusing messages of what it means to be a man in today's society, that's why I get so upset. I remember months before, I even saw Mr. Jason Wilson sit down with Cam Newton. I had reached out to people that I knew, and I was like, listen, like, y'all need to sit down with this guy. Like, I really do feel like, and I don't know Cam Newton personally. I don't have anything negative to say about him. That's just not my thing. However, it's like when I saw that interview and I saw a older, like good-looking gentleman that's successful, that obviously is a man of God, breaking it down, I was like, this is what we need. This is what we need. This is what the game is missing. Some guys have not been raised by their dads to tell them that. Now, I don't know Cam's situation, but I'm saying that outside of Cam, which give him props for having that conversation and being unapologetically himself in that conversation, because out of it came fruit. Because there's people that are watching that think just like Cam, that are thinking like that. And I think he's open. I really do think he's receptive. Yeah, he gives pushback. Okay. But I think he is receptive to what was being said to him. But it was just the presentation of it. We need, like, I've had people say, hey, Sam, you should go on these things. You should talk to a man about this, that, and third. I'm not a man to tell a man how to be a man. It's way more powerful coming from a man. Now, I can tell you what I think is attractive, and I can tell you what I would want to submit to, but I can't tell you how to be a man. That's out of my ballpark. I can tell women because I'm a woman. I know how to be a woman. I know how to present myself as a woman. I know how to go into different environments and be what I need to be as a woman. I cannot tell a man how to be a man. And I think a lot of women try to tell men how to be men, and we can't do that. That we're out of our lane. We're out of our God-given authority. But what I will tell you is what I think is attractive. And what I think is attractive is when a man can sit on that platform, and he's unapologetically, he knows the word of God. He's secure in who he is. That even when he's challenged, he's not coming at Cam with energy. He's coming calm, cool, and he knows who he is. He knows who he is, and he knows whose he is. He is secure in his identity with Christ. He wasn't afraid of being canceled. He wasn't afraid of having these conversations. When I sit down with certain men, that's what's lacking in today's society, is that sense of self. Like, I know who I am in God, not who you are in the business, not who you are in your trade, not who you are in your talent, who you are and whose you are. There's a security I have right now, family, I've never had in my life. And that's because I know who I am in God. It's not because of who I am in y'all, who I am on the internet, no, because you guys, I know how people can flip flop. One day I could be the hottest thing since sliced bread. The next day I could be the worst. Y'all could be like, cancel her. She needs to get out of here. I know how finicky people are. God has never, throughout the Bible, find me a passage where he says trust people. He doesn't say trust people. He says trust him. So guess what? I'm going to come on here and I'm going to say my opinion, and y'all can say whatever y'all want about me, but I'm going to say it because I trust him. God is calling up men, and not to allow yourselves to be influenced by men where you know it's obviously broken. Even if it's your own father, you know that what you saw was broken. It's time for us to raise up and do something different in our community, family. It is not masculinity to not take responsibility for what is yours. It is not responsibility. It's not masculinity to lack discipline in any area. It is not masculinity to just be run by lust. It's not masculinity. It's not strength. It's not masculinity to say I'm going to have a bunch of baby mamas and I'm not going to really commit to any of them. That is not masculinity. Masculinity is I'm going to take responsibility for what's mine. I'm going to build a house with her. I'm gonna build a generational. And again, here's what I'll say about that caveat: make sure she's the right woman before you start having children with her. And if you listen, you already had children, okay. Redemption is new every day, every morning. Thank God. I say that for my own life. I'm not held by my past mistakes. I'm not held by the decisions I made 10, 15 years ago. I'm not held by the decisions I made 2 years ago. Thank God we serve a redeemer. Thank God we serve a forgiving God. We're not bound by those things. But what we can do is make a different decision. And what I see is that we allow the influences of our culture that are obviously broken influence us. Not taking responsibility for what is yours is not masculinity. Bragging about how you don't take care of your girl is not masculinity. That's like a high school boy. That's not grown man. I'm sorry, a grown man that comes into my life and you're bragging about what you don't do for the last woman or what you didn't do for the last woman, that's not masculinity. That's not strength. That's not strength. That's weakness. Strength is, I'm going to give you the best I can with what I have. And if you don't do right by me, I trust God to be my vindicator. That's strength. Why? Because I'm taking a risk. Risk taking is strength. Hiding behind a platinum prism and afraid of what? That's not strength. That's weakness. Hiding in the wine press like Gideon is weakness. Getting out on the battlefield in front of a Goliath, that's strength. And too many of us are praising hiding in the wine press Gideon and making that strength. When you're avoiding commitment, that's hiding in the wine press. Hiding under a rock. That's not sitting. That's not Goliath. That's not a King David. King David was not like that. King David showed up to every match. He showed up, and even when he made a mistake, he went before the Lord and he repented. He repented so much so, and he paid the consequences for his actions, and he never did it again. It's not a King David to hide from commitment. It's not a King David to hide from covenant. It's not a King David. And I'm just saying one. I'm just saying one man in the Bible. Because I can talk about Moses. How he did use Gideon. How he used Noah. How he used Abraham. How he used Isaac. How he used Jacob. How he used Daniel. How he used the Hebrew boys. How he used Isaiah and Jeremiah. How he used the disciples. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I think there was another John. Paul. Peter. He uses people, but we have to be willing to take risks. Not, I'm going to spend the night with you. I don't know your name. I think you're kind of cute with the lights off. So let me just get this off real quick and move on to the next one. That's not strength. That's not strength. That lacks discipline and lacks integrity. I'm sorry. I think it's strong when a man can see women and women could be throwing themselves at them and they could be like, nah, I'm good on that. Like the fact that you're doing that, like, nah, that's strength. A man that has hundreds of women throwing themselves at him and he could say no to them, that's strength. A man that can't say no, it's not strength at all. It's weakness. Because we would say the same thing for another woman, right? If a woman was, oh, she can have these guys and she's sleeping with, even if she's sleeping with a third of the men that are coming at her, we're going to call her what? I'm sorry. Same thing with you guys. Lacking in sexual integrity and lacking sexual discipline is not strength. Being run by lust is not strength. Lacking discipline is not strength. Not willing to take responsibility is not strength. Not willing to commit is not strength, it's weakness. Running away from commitment and trying to find a way to justify it is weakness. It's the ultimate level of weakness. Strength is I'm taking responsibility for my actions. We cry about or say, oh, what is it? What do they say? Take accountability. Take accountability. Take accountability. Yes, taking accountability is taking responsibility. And too many of us are trying to dip and dodge responsibility. No. That's weakness. That's weakness. We want to make fun of men. It's so backwards in our society where we want to make fun of men that have been married for 30 years. Why are we making fun of men that get married and they've been married for a long period of time? You know how much discipline it takes to be married and stay married? You know how hard it is to stay married? We're so focused on saying I do. Do you know how hard it is to stay married? It's easy to get married. Stay married is it. That's the battle. There's a lot of men, and now I see it as a red flag, where they're like, they've never been married, and oh my gosh, I want to get married. I want to get married. I want to get married. And I appreciate a man wanting to get married now. I'm not mad at that. But there's a lot of men that want wives that are not ready to be husbands. They're not ready to be faithful. They're not ready to consider somebody else in their decision making. They're not willing to, they're not ready to make any of the sacrifices that are required to be a husband. And the reverse is true. There's a lot of women who want to be wives, but are not qualified to be a wife. You don't have the character to be a wife. And there's a lot of men who lack the character to be a husband, want to be a husband. No. Let me say that again. They want a wife. They don't want to be a husband. A lot of men are like that. They want a wife, but they don't want to be a husband. They want you to be a wife and be a good wife and do this and do that and blah. But them being a husband? Oh no, you asking for too much. Being a husband is not for the weak. Deciding to, if a man says to Sam, I'm talking about myself, third person. But if a man says to me, I want you to be my wife. I want to walk down the aisle. I want to see you every single day. I want to wake up to you every morning. I want to see you in the shower when I get up, when I go to sleep. I want you to have my children. I want to be with you forever. I want you to be the thing I go to events with and go do these things with. Right? The man says that to me. I'm like, oh, okay. So what are you? So you ready? You ready to just be with me forever? There's men that will say that, but they're not ready to be a husband because now I depend on you. Now I'm looking to your leadership. Now you're saying to me that you're my covering. I'm not doing it world's way. I'm doing it God's way. God's way says that the man I say I do to, if as I'm submitting to him, he's submitting to God. And as he is my covering, he is taking responsibility of me. He is taking responsibility of me in all that I come with. Some men, they just like the idea of having a certain woman in their life. They don't like the idea. The reality of taking responsibility of her is where we lose it. Again, I'm going back to the idea, and this is my number 2. Is men running away from responsibility. Dipping and dodging responsibility. Running away from commitment, that's weakness. That's not strength. Committing in a world that doesn't commit is strength. Having discipline in a world that glamorizes shortcuts, not strength. A man of God, any man that you see in the Bible, God will speak to them. They will have to carry a mantle, and that mantle will often cause them to sacrifice every plan that they had of their own. In Ephesians 5, it talks about what a man has to do as far as taking responsibility. And let's read that together so that we have a clear understanding of what that says. Lord, of course, my thing doesn't want to work here. There we go. But again, y'all, women, I'm not letting women off the hook, because women, we have a responsibility too. And I'm going to talk about that. It says in Ephesians 5:25, a command for husbands to love their wives with a sacrificial and purifying love. A sacrificial and purifying love. Ephesians 5:25. Y'all can do what y'all want to do, and you can let culture determine what you decide to do. But I will tell you, your legacy will feel every choice you make. Every decision you decide to make today, your legacy will feel those decisions. They will look at your life, and they will either choose to be who you were or be better. They'll talk about you as the hero, or talk about you as the person they don't want to be anything like. You have a choice. How will you leave your legacy to your next generations? Will you run in fear, avoiding commitment, lacking discipline, and finding ways to justify it biblically, as if God is telling you to be the neighborhood, neighborhood ride? God cannot bless that. The enemy can, though. The enemy can do a lot with you, and then he'll spit you out and find somebody else. Today's men, or the men that people are saying they want to aspire to be, or the men that we're propping up in our community, again, anybody can be redeemed. We all can make different decisions. But I'm not going to let you call that strength. I'm not going to let nobody call that strength. That's weakness. It's weakness. There's ways that I've lived my life, family, and I can look back on it and I can say, dang, that was toxic. Dang, you know what? I should have done better. You know what? There's ways I could have done this and I could have made better decisions in this. Like, I can look back over my life and I can say where I've gone wrong and where I wish I could have done things. I really can. I really can. I can take accountability for the fact that there are definitely some ways I wish I could have done things. I mean, just in my life in general. But one thing I've decided to do in this part of my life, in this journey, if you watch any of my podcasts before, I've said a lot that I will not allow fear to drive me any longer. That fear will not be my decision making authority any longer. And I encourage the people on here today that are watching me. If fear is what has you in a chokehold and has you making decisions that are less than what's God's best for you, I ask for you to reconsider. There's nothing about God that brings about fear. The enemy uses fear to keep you not obeying God, to keep you doing you, what you're comfortable with, but less than your optimal calling. Men, God wants men back in the church. God wants godly families. That's what God desires. God desires men of covenant, men that are standing boldly for him. He is actually actively tearing down every influence that is not of that as we speak. You will continue to see men that have decided to do it their way and not God's way. You will absolutely continue to see them be exposed in the way that they are being exposed in this generation. God is tearing those things down. Why? Because men mean a lot to God. Adam came first. And men are actively rejecting God's way. Men are actively rejecting God and they're actively rejecting God's way. And do you think God is pleased? No. So what is he doing? He is exposing people that are sitting out here saying they're men of God, but the way that they live their lives are in complete contradiction. God is holding not only men accountable, he's holding women accountable. But if you look at the news and you see what's going on in the world, he is absolutely holding men to the fire. And if you think you're exempt because you're on TikTok or you're on YouTube or whatever, no. God is holding every man accountable for his actions. I have to answer to me. You got to answer to you. And at the end of your life, whenever that is, I hope you have something good to say. I hope you have something good that you built, that you left this planet for. I hope you can look in Jesus's eyes and say you did the best you could. I really do. Because if you look at the world today, we know it's coming to an end. So how you living your life? How you making your decisions? I've had to think like that, family. Because guess what? He's tearing down altars as we speak. Hypocrites are being exposed. There's deception in the church that is being exposed. We're seeing pastors that we've put on pedestals being knocked down on pedestals. People in the popular media being knocked off of their pedestal. God is doing a new thing in this season. Do you not perceive it? And men, it's for you to not sit in the shadows and be like, I'm not going to commit because I'm scared. No. Face your fear. Stop allowing the enemy to trick you into these cycles of relationships that have nothing to do with God. All you're doing is defiling you and defiling your connection to God. You can't hear God as well when you in sin. You just can't. When you're not being obedient, you're not hearing God like that. You're just not. You might have moments where you hear him and moments where you don't. But God is calling you out of this cycle. And that's going to be against everything your family's done. That's going to be the one thing. Like, your family may have never done it right with women. Your family may have never done it right with men. But God is calling you, and God is calling a lot of us into a state of doing something new. There is a new temple. There is a new church that is being built. and you can choose. You can choose to be a part of it or not. You can sit here, you can make jokes on this live if you want to. I came here to really get at it. What we're seeing on the media and all these jokes that some men are making about how they conduct their lifestyles and for not protecting and providing, and making jokes about how they don't want to be in covenant, how they don't want to be in commitment. And there's a lot of men adopting those principles as if that is law. And then they're making more broken homes in our community and making a joke out of the things that our forefathers built. I'm here to tell you guys it's time to change. That isn't cute. To sit here and be non-committal. That ain't cute. What is that? Lacking discipline? That's not cute. That's the most unattractive thing you could tell me. Any man sit up here and laugh about what he won't do for somebody else is not attractive to me. I don't care what you got going on. Mark my words, it's not attractive to me. How you won't take responsibility, and unfortunately today, we got women, because we want to be with certain types of men. We allow certain things like that. We sit here and tolerate certain things like that, where a man is openly disrespecting us or openly disrespecting the relationship that we have. No, because with some of these things, family, I'm not gonna lie. We already not in the right situation because we living together and we not married. But when you out here and you're talking about me like that, and we're not married, oh, you coming home to an empty house, beloved, for sure. And I might have changed my number. I'm good. I'm keeping it 100 with you. What we do in our household don't need to be a joke to anybody else, because now it's a show. Now you're putting on a show for other people. You want other people to like what you're doing. You want other people to be okay with how we're conducting our private relationship. No, you could be in a relationship with you and you. And I'm gone with the wind bullseye. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your energy. I'm out of here. Say I won't. Say I wouldn't, because I sure would. And we just living together. We just shacking up. No. I'll figure it out. I'll find a way. That's the problem, family. We got too many people on both sides, because women, I'm coming for y'all next. And I can come at y'all a different way because I'm a woman too. But what you're not going to do is call it masculinity while you're making a joke about what you don't do for me. Why you got to make a joke about what we got going on in our relationship? Does that make you feel more like a man? And family, if you want to live a lifestyle and you want to be out here and you don't want to get married, don't try to make it Bible. Don't try to make it God's way. Just say that's your way. That'd be bothering me the most. If you want to be out here and you don't want to marry who you with, and you don't want to, that's not what you want to do, don't make that God's way. Don't sit up in no church and try to find a scripture to justify how you live in your life. Just say, I'm sinning and this is what I'm doing right now. I know I'm not living right. I know I'm out of God's order. I know I'm not in God's alignment. Instead of trying to find a way to make what you're doing right. What you're doing is wrong. We know it's wrong. Let's just get over that. It's almost like, I have a child. Y'all, some of y'all have children. It's almost like with my daughter. I'll say, okay, Soraya, so what are we supposed to do? Well, you said that we need to go do the dishes, mommy. Okay, what did you do instead? I colored on the wall. Okay, that's not what mommy asked. Well, I mean, you said that you were going to go in another room, and then no. We can go all around the merry-go-round. What did mommy say, and what did you do? You can talk about where I went. You can talk about who I talked to. You can say I was on the phone. You can say a lot of things, but what did I say, and what did you do? It's mama talk. That's how God looks at us. He's better than me, obviously. He's more tolerant, he's more loving, God is such a good father. And I feel so passionately, y'all. I did a video and I said I love men. I have two brothers, y'all, and I have a stepdad, a dad. I have very beautiful men in my life that are strong, that are protectors, that are providers, quality men, right? And so I have a passion for men because I don't like men being talked about in the way that they've been talked about. I don't like that men being represented in the way that they've been represented. I don't like it. But I see what the media is doing and the ammunition that we give them. The ammunition that we give them to speak about our community the way that we do because of how we act and how we conduct our relationships, where we prop up the families. We prop up people that stayed married and are together. Like, it's not the norm in our community to see a couple last a long period of time and have a family together. That's not what we see. So when we see it, we're like, oh my goodness, y'all been married this whole time and those are all y'all kids together? Like, that's not no child from another marriage. Like, that's what you see. I'm not gonna lie, if I saw a couple that's Caucasian, they walk in, they got 3 kids, I'm not thinking that she had a baby with somebody else or he had a baby with somebody else. I'm thinking that those 3 kids are from their relationship. But if another couple comes in and they've got multiple children, they're all y'all, that's from y'all together. We don't even see how crazy that is. We don't even see, and the fact that it's reflected like it's true. Because we prop up these men that are not taking full responsibility of one household because of fear. Maybe they've been hurt before, whatever the case may be. I'm calling y'all out. Men of God, men that deep down want to be men of God. I bring up Cam not because I have anything against him. I just watched parts of the interview. But I saw how he was fighting for his perspective. And what I saw from that was a man who wants to be a man of God. A man who desires to be right with God. A man who doesn't want anything that he's doing to take him out of alignment. But there are just certain things that maybe he doesn't fully understand or he hasn't fully grasped. But there was that tug was, I want to be a man of God. And I think there's a lot of us, I know I felt it too. God's calling y'all. He's calling you out of the boat, and he's calling you to do something your family may have never done. Calling you to be something you've never seen before. And it's not for you to run away. It's not for you to be scared of. It's for you to dig in. I'm calling you out of fear. I'm rebuking and binding fear in the name of Jesus. And I'm saying to every man that's on this live, it's time for us to have something different to say about our men and the generation of men that we're raising. We're not raising men that are running away from discipline. We're not raising men that are running away from responsibility. We're not raising men that are running away from commitment and covenant. And all of those put together, you're running away from God. Because in order to have a relationship with God, you have to have discipline. You have to be committed. And it is a covenant. And there are responsibilities. Somebody said this on this live, and I thought it was a very beautiful point. He said, if you don't know how to have a relationship with God, you don't know how to be committed. If you don't know how to be committed to God, how can you be committed to anybody else? And I feel like there's people that are committed, I'm not saying but I personally desire a man of God. I personally do. I desire a man who has his own relationship with God. There was a time where I didn't want that because of the men that I had met in my life that were men of God that didn't represent themselves as men of God. Like, they're saying they're men of God, but the way that they're walking the path, the fruit wasn't there. I've been hurt by men that call themselves men of God. That's a label that's real strong, family. And I really hear, like, for me, when I meet true men of God, there's some of the most attractive things that these men say, because they want any man that's in covenant with God. I have not met one that even thinks twice about being the protector, the provider, the covering, the leader. I haven't heard one of them complain about that role. They relish in being able to be that rock for their family. They're like, I'm ready to be the rock that we build our house on. I'm ready for God to use me in that way so that legacy could be built off of my name. What kind of legacy can you build when you ain't willing to commit to nobody? What kind of legacy are you trying to build when you're not willing to be in covenant? We serve a covenant keeping God. The foundation of our commitment is your relationship with God. And family, if we're living any kind of way, we don't have that relationship. Our relationship is wildly tainted. I want a generation of men of God to just stand up. That is what we need. That is what our world needs. Real men of God, not this fake, performative, oh, I just am in the church all the time, but we find you're exposed in some car with some random woman, or you're doing some dirt. No, real men of God that may not look like what you would normally see. I know I'm not what you would normally see in somebody's church thrown out on the altar. There's men all the time that write me about, I don't see women like you really being in church like this. Like, this is a beautiful thing to see. No, I want to see a man of God. I want to see men of God like that, where you all tatted up, you got tattoos all over, or you like a Philip Anthony Mitchell, who you don't have tattoos all over, but he come from New York. You already know. You see certain men, it's like I think it's Tim Timberlake, the other guy who's also had associated with street life, and then they turned over and now they have their pastors of churches, and they're very masculine men. They're like they're not only the rock in their family, they're not only the head of their household, they're the head of an entire community of people. Come on, 2819, those are thousands of members. That's a mantle you carry. And these are men that are like, I'm run at me the wrong way with my family, and we swinging. Run at me the wrong way, and your boy is about to go New York on you. Like, and I love that. I love that. We need to see more of that. God is calling out men of God. It's what I want to see in the body of Christ so bad. More men of God. We got a bunch of women in churches. But when I see men that are sold out for God, it's different. They're so filled with purpose. They're so filled with, it's like there's something about it that is so wildly attractive, because they speak a different language. They're moving in a situation, like they're moving with integrity in the church. I see this man in my church he married man and things like that, hands of God, whatever the case may be. He moves in very, like, he's a pastor or whatever, but he's moving in very, I'm like, wow, see, he is not playing about his family. He's like, no, I'm not ever going to put myself in a situation that I can't get myself out of. Like, I'm going to keep myself accountable. I'm not going to let myself fall into temptation. And women be up in the church. I mean, we in Atlanta. There's women on every doorstep of the church. And he's keeping himself protected in that environment for his family. That's strength. It's not strength when we just be, yes, there's wisdom in avoiding temptation and like not putting yourselves in unwise situations to compromise what you're building. But I would want, and I'm just saying this for me, I want a man to know that when I walk into a room, he don't have to worry about who come at me. If he's, I'm sure, I don't know who the man is. But if I was to go to an environment and he's not with me, he don't have to worry about what I got going on. He don't have to worry like is Sam gonna be faithful? What's Sam about to do? Is Sam gonna like he knows like nah, she was disciplined for like years before we even got together. Like I know it, I don't care who come at my girl. I know my girl is whatever, but I know who I got. I can trust her. I want to be able to say that about my man too. I want to be able to say that I can trust you. I can trust that you are disciplined enough, and you don't just become disciplined. You don't just become disciplined. You practice shooting in the gym. You don't just get into a marriage and now you're disciplined. No, you become disciplined before you get in the marriage. I become disciplined before I ever got in the marriage. My husband don't got to worry about me because I'm already like this, and I don't have to be like this. I don't have to be like, no, God, if it's not him, leave me alone. I don't have to be like that. But for my husband, for the God that God has given, that God has promised me, I'm doing that. I'm like, I don't see nobody. I'm not talking to nobody. Until God says this is him, I'm like, And I know that in the future, all this sacrifice will mean something to the person that God has for me. Because maybe that's an area he's sensitive in. Maybe his last situation that wasn't like that. And for a woman to be waiting on him, that's going to mean a lot to him. I know that. But I also know in reverse, I want that same man to have been mindful of me, even if he didn't know it was me that he was being mindful for. I will want him to be mindful like that for me. I'm speaking as a woman, like as somebody's future wife. I will want to know my husband was intentional for me. I really would. I will want to know that he was able to be disciplined for me. I want to know that he's already like preparing for me because I'm preparing for him. Somebody asked me, and this is a woman, how do you know? You see God about it. You see God and wise counsel about it. But I say all that to say, men, God is raising up a chosen generation. Do not allow culture's version, I'm not even going to say of strength. Do not let culture create an image of manhood that's just not real. It's not real. Look in my eyes, family. It's not real. Those are lies. When has it ever benefited you to lack discipline and discernment and just sleep with whoever? When has it ever benefited you to not build legacy and family? When has it ever been strength to avoid responsibility? When has that ever been a thing? And if you have more, you have more to lose. It's time, family. It's time to stop hiding in the shadows. It's time to stop wasting time. Let's stop making these images of weakness, masculinity, because it doesn't look good for us. I work out with women that they're from a different culture, and their husbands are protectors and providers. And that is what they are. And they take pride in being that. They're from the Middle East. They take pride on being that for their family. They'll do anything to be that for their family. Not only their immediate family, but their family, their extended family, their parents. They take pride in that. We're the only ones in America that like to come online and talk about how much we don't want to be committed, how much we don't want to be in covenant, how we just want to lay around with randoms and have casual sexual relationships without and just be lack intentionality altogether. And then go on the internet and cry about it when it doesn't work out. That's spiritual death. Look at that. Look at our world. Look, it's spiritual death. We're not seeing life and life more abundantly. We're seeing death. It's not more fun to walk around just sleeping with a bunch of people. It's not more fun. I know that. I know that for certain. Because if it was, people wouldn't be sitting here unaliving themselves while living that lifestyle. It's not more fun. It's also not more fun being with the wrong person because it started out a certain way. It's time to do it God's way, not just women. Because men, God created y'all first. Created y'all first to have dominion. Some of you guys are just giving your God-given authority away for 10 minutes with a woman you don't even like. God is not going to trust you with a daughter of the king when you still can't say no to a girl you don't even like. God's not going to trust you with a daughter of the king when you privately still struggling with watching porn. You can't control it. God is not going to trust you with a daughter of the king when you're running away from commitment. And you don't have a respect for covenant. And family, women are not exempt. Just because you desire a husband does not mean you a wife. It just means you want a man. Wanting a man and being a wife are few and far between. God is calling us back to divine order. And stop making these weaknesses strengths. Let's call it exactly what it is. Whether it means they cancel you, whether there's people that unfollow you, I don't care. It's time for us to do it God's way. And men, I know God's speaking to women, of course, but God is calling you back. He's calling them Abrahams, Moses, Isaac, Jacobs, Daniel, Joshua, Zechariah. Peter, Paul, David, He's calling men back. Don't look at these broken versions of men, of masculinity, and think that this means it's strength just because we're no. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whosoever sows will reap. You will reap what you sow in this life. That's law. It may not be today and it may not be tomorrow, but it's coming. It's time for us to be more intentional. It's time for us to no longer run away from commitment. It's time for us to no longer run away from our God-given authority, dominion. None of us should be running in fear or allowing our bodies to run us. It's time for us to take dominion. It's not just, oh, I want a wife. Are you a husband? And it's not just, I want a husband. Are you a wife? Instead of focusing on trying to find this person, why don't we focus on becoming that person? I'm going to say that one again. Instead of us focusing so much on wanting to find this person, why don't we spend more time and more energy focusing on becoming that person? That's what God has called me to do. Not worry about the who, the what, the when. As hard as that is for me, I'm not going to lie. It's been more about, no, Sam, become. Let me focus on the details. I'll do that part. You focus on becoming. And that's exactly what I'll do. And what I've done. So family, I know this live was spicy. I know I had a lot of passion. I just get really irritated when I see reflections of men that are not like men that I actually know. And they make it popular like it's cute. It's not cute. You look dumb. It does not look good to not take responsibility of what's yours. It does not look good when you lack sexual discipline. It does not look good when you're trying to find Bible scripture to back up sinful lifestyle choices. It does not look good. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't. It doesn't look good when you're out here, I want a wife, but you don't want to be nobody's husband. You want women to do all this, that, and the third, but what you're God-given, what God has given you to do as a man, you have not stewarded that well. You haven't even tried to because you're moving in fear. It's time to look fear in the face tonight. Say, you will no longer have dominion here. In the name of Jesus, I'm calling you out. I am a man of discipline. I can't say no. I don't have to be watched. No, I am going to break this stronghold off of me now in the name of Jesus. I'm going to break this stronghold off of me now in the name of Jesus. I'm breaking lust off of me in the name of Jesus now. It's off of me now. The fear, I'm breaking off of me now. We're breaking up forever now. I'm not doing this anymore. I will get everything God has for me. I will not allow the enemy, I will not allow the inner me to stop me from God's best for me. Break it off of you now. It's time. It's time for us to take our God-given dominion back and not allow these versions of masculinity that are trying to influence you. Because what is the enemy doing? What is media doing? They're trying to influence you through what you see to continue to enact the patterns of this broken behavior so that we continue to stay at the bottom while other people rise to the top. I don't want you guys to get lost in the sauce. I don't want you to be distracted by what you see. I want you to see the underlying agenda here. The agenda is to keep you at the bottom and other people at the top. It's time for you to see through the agenda and say, no, I'm going to be a covenant. I am going to be a man a masculine man, because I'm not saying you're not a man when you do it different ways. What I am saying is a man that keeps covenant, a man that doesn't run from commitment, a man that is not afraid of, is going to shoot his shot, a man who is not going to be afraid, who's not going to be bound by fear, a man who walks in discipline. He doesn't care what is being thrown at him. He's practicing saying no now in the name of Jesus. He's not going to allow himself to be run by lust. He's not going to allow himself to be run by his flesh. No. I'm not going to be one of them stories. It stops now. Now. In the name of Jesus. It stops now. It stops now. It stops now. A godly man is irresistible to women, because I will tell you what, a disciplined man is a very attractive man. They say I used to hear men say, we played a game like you don't really want it, and then the women are going to want you more. Don't play the game like you don't play a game. Really be about that integrity. But the sentiment is true. Women want a man that's disciplined more. It just is. It's just true. It's just true. It's just true. Women like disciplined men. There's you. When you meet a man that's disciplined, when you meet a man who's a man of God, even when he's pretending, he usually got a lot of women that I meet. They be around women. He don't even have to be like the most attractive guy in the world, but he could pray. Women love a man that can pray. And women, that's when we have to be discerning of fruit. But that's a whole nother conversation. All right, family. I know it's a lot of information. I'm going to stop talking now. But I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody that has supported me on the Cash App. I haven't looked at the Cash App tonight. But I want to thank everybody. Truth, thank you for the birthday girl. Who else is supporting? Thank you, Truth, for supporting me on this live tonight. Tommy, thank you. Mark, thank you so much. Thank you guys for supporting me on tonight's live. Thank you for all that supported me on the Cash App. I hope this conversation was what everything y'all thought it was going to be. I know in the beginning I was super, super passionate, but I'm a passionate woman. What can I say? I'm very passionate. And yeah, next week I'm coming for women. Next week is women's turn. Next week is women's turn. And buckle your seatbelts. Because it might be culture's version of femininity is not feminine at all. That's next week's episode. We'll talk about that. Why a godly woman is irresistible to men. You're going to flip it. Again, family, y'all know I'm not going to come at one and not come at the other. I don't think that's fair. But God has given me a lot of downloads in this season. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. That means I'm learning. I'm on a journey. And I'm committed to sharing what God has given me in this journey of life. Because it's been a ride. Life has been a ride. But I'm committed to growing and I'm committed to sharing what I've learned. I believe that we don't go through things and we don't grow through things for ourselves. We go and grow through things to be a blessing to others. Really believe that. All right. All right, family. I love y'all. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of this, but thank you guys for Keyshawn. You feel me? What's up, sir? How you doing? But anyway, y'all, I am going to jump off. I hope you guys have a great night. And I will see you guys next week. All right. So let me go ahead and log off. Bye, TikTok. Great to see you guys. And bye, YouTube family. I will see you guys soon. Okay. Love y'all.